Welcome to 2 Cents Short of a Dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your host, that's Motiz, and I'm Rue. We have a brand new undisputed heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, and off the win, Terence Crawford tweets, Usyk has to be in the conversation for pound number one fighter in the world. He says, I'm no hater. I understand what he's done. He has to be in the conversation. So today I would like to have that conversation. Of course, some of the usual suspects, Usyk, who we just named, Crawford, who put out the tweet, and Naoya Inoue, and whoever others are, maybe thinking, those guys, what they all have in common is they're two weight division undisputed champions. So with that being said, who right now is your pound for pound number one fighter in the world?
Pound for pound. That's a great question. So when I consider a fighter being pound for pound, I also have to factor in them moving up in weight. So, when we're talking about the names that you mentioned, with starting with Usyk, because he just beat Tyson Fury, a former Olympian, gold medalist, undisputed at two weight classes, right? At cruiserweight, heavyweight division. Then we have Terence Crawford, who just won undisputed at the welterweight division and previously won undisputed at the lightweight division, super lightweight division. And he stopped everyone at the 147-pound division. Then you have Naoya Inoue, of course, the monster, who's also undisputed at two weight classes, the bantamweight division, and then, of course, the super bantamweight division as well. So, in my opinion, I'm probably going to go with Naoya Inoue as my number one pound for pound fighter. And the reason why I'm going to go with Inoue is because, just following his career, he started off at 108 pounds, moved his way up. He won titles at 4 different weight classes. He's beat everyone in front of him in phenomenal fashion. I think the closest fight he's had was with Donaire. And even that fight, if you go back and watch, he arguably stopped Donaire, right? Which, the controversial 10 count, which Donaire arose at the 10 count. And he had a long 10 count nonetheless, right? But he's beaten fighters, back in the days. I don't know if you remember when they used to have the what is it called? The Super Fight series, the World Boxing Super Fight series, where it was a tournament. Andre Ward was a part of it.
Yeah, most famously, yeah.
Exactly. Inoue was also a part of it as well, and he was just dominating fighters. He beat some opponents, early in his career, adversaries like Roichi Taguchi, I believe that's his name is. Someone in the comment section can I'm pretty sure I'm butchering his name, and kind of correct me, who was a former unified world champion. He beat him. Then he beat, likes of Cool Boy Steph. He just beat Neri, so I think he just went through the gauntlet. And I think, right, exactly. And I think it's just the fashion of how he's been dismantling his opponent that I put him as number one, slightly ahead of Usyk, beating fighters, whether it's his size, bigger than him, and then he did it in more weight classes. So that's why he's my number one pound for pound fighter. What about you?
Yeah. So Inoue, one thing I see a lot on the internet with Inoue is the activity. A lot of people said to be pound for pound number one fighter in the world, you have to be active. Inoue, if nothing else, is active. He's constantly fighting. The Cool Boy one was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because I personally thought Cool Boy was the best at that division, and obviously I was wrong. And Inoue blew Cool Boy Steph away. And Cool Boy Steph, who in my opinion, this would have to play out to confirm it, but who I would have thought was better than Tapales or Neri, I think he did the worst against Inoue of the three. You know what I'm saying? So, Inoue's activity is undeniable. Like you said, how he's stopping folks. But Terence Crawford has the glamour name, right? And the way he dismantled Errol Spence, right? Like, though that makes it very hard. Like you said, he stopped everyone at the welterweight division. So it's like, talk about impressive fashion. That's impressive as well. And to culminate it with stopping Errol Spence, the biggest name at that division, you know what I mean? So right there's really close between Inoue and Crawford. But with that being said, I have neither of the two. I have Alexander Usyk, and for me, it's a no-brainer. Just for me personally, boxing was just built on the heavyweight division. And I always, I don't want to sound like prisoner of the moment or recency bias. I always thought of when Usyk went up to heavyweight and then he beat Joshua, I'm like, yo, if this dude becomes undisputed at this weight class, to me, he's the baddest man on the planet. Just because like heavyweight is so crazy, right? Like I said, boxing was really solidified on the heavyweight division. I know welterweight might be considered the glamour division, but heavyweight is really it. If heavyweight is popping, you know, boxing goes so far. And man, to come up there and like I said, everybody thought the fight was Joshua Wilder, right? For a lot of years, Joshua Wilder. So to come up there and beat Joshua twice, then beat the man who beat Wilder twice, but could have been 3 times, right? One was a draw, obviously. Even so, whatever our opinions there, doesn't matter. Man, and in the fashion he's doing it, that he broke Joshua's eye socket. Man, I thought in the 9th round that fight could have been stopped last night. Yeah. I thought it was a lot of punishment without anything being returned, man. And then, bro, Usyk is, you know, amongst normal people, a giant, 6'3", between 220, 230, but going up against Joshua, who's like 6'6", 245, 250, Fury 6'9", 260, 270. Man, Usyk, man, I have to go with Usyk. Like I said, for me, what puts it over the top is doing it at heavyweight. I know cruiserweight didn't have a ton of great names, but heavyweight just means so much, in my opinion, to me.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Because I think those are definitely good points, but I think really with Usyk, where you can really say the reason why he's number one, I don't think it's also because of who he's beaten. Because when you compare him to Crawford, or even Inoue as well, you can probably argue that, you know, his finish, he's been winning, but I don't think he's as exciting compared to those fighters. But I think, to your point, I think what actually elevates Usyk and what people don't talk about enough, which actually goes against my case, but I'm just the honest person. You know me. I keep it real. Usyk, in comparison to Inoue, which is my choice, is Usyk is going into enemy territory and beating these guys, right? Like Bellew at the cruiserweight division in the UK, right? Huck when he beat him in Germany, Glowacki in Poland. Like, he's going into enemy territory and beating these guys. Yes, he can't fight in the Ukraine, obviously, because they're going through war, but this has always been, you know, how Usyk fought, right? Going into enemy territory and beating these guys, you know, decisively, you know, and that's something, I'm not going to lie, is something that's, I'll give him credit for in retrospect to the comparison with Terence Crawford and or Inoue, for sure.
Yeah, and bro, like, think about the big deal that people were making about Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, right? Over 3 pounds, right? And I'm not gonna say 3 pounds is nothing, because there's weight classes for a reason. Then think about heavyweight, where that shit does not matter. Excuse my French there, where it just does not matter, right? It's like, bro, going up against someone that weighs 30 more pounds than you, bro, is insane. I can't even imagine being put in that circumstance. Like, yo, Mo, you got to get in there right now. Spar this dude. He's 30 more pounds. What are you talking about right now?
And that's sparring. So let alone a real fight.
Yeah.
There's no headgear. The gloves are smaller, right? And I think that's also why, the same reason why people consider Deontay Wilder to be so impressive was punching power, because he was coming into fights giving up like 30, 40 pounds. But Usyk, that don't even have that type of punching power.
He doesn't have the great equalizer.
And outclassing these folks. You know my slogan. Scales do not pay the bills unless it comes down to Lomachenko and Usyk. Those are the only 2 fighters that I'm like, when it comes to skills paying the bills, they outright can absolutely say that.
Right.
Fighters.
Right. And just to get some clarity there, so people don't think you're crazy. Obviously, there's skills fighters out there doing it, but like I said, Loma has some pop. But relative to like his peers and where he's at right now, you wouldn't consider him like, oh yeah, he's a knockout artist, you know,
right?
Like Usyk, not a knockout artist, you know. And then, you know, like one of the most skillful guys out there, like Crawford, he stopped everyone at welterweight. You have to consider him a knockout artist at this point.
Absolutely.
He has, you know what I'm saying, the equalizer. You have to. So these are guys who are just like, man, they're just relying on pure skill. And bro, it's really hard to even give those guys trouble if you don't have a decent size advantage on them.
Absolutely. So that's a good pick. And you know, to, you know, people in the comment section, of course, you know, this is definitely not, you know, recency bias at all, because you got to give Usyk his flowers. He's not an American fighter, and look what he's done, you know. So he has, you know, he's in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division maybe more popular, but it's not as popular as the low weight classes in recent times. So we got to give, we got to be real there as well. So
yeah, and I know they have the rematch set up. There's a mandatory rematch. It's crazy because after this, I don't even care what Usyk does. I would actually like to see him probably just walk away because it's like, bro, what else is there to prove? But like I said, I know the rematch is there. So I low key, Fury is saying he wants the rematch. I low key think he might forego the rematch because I kind of think he's on his way out too, and I think he might just set up the Joshua fight, cash out, huge payday, and just call it.
I agree. I agree. I don't think he's going to activate the rematch clause, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think
and it's not necessarily it's not like out of fear of Usyk, in my opinion. It's just that like I think in his mind, even though he said he feels like he won, I think he knows, man, that was a good fight. It could have went either way per se, even though I thought Usyk won and I thought the knockdown was really the decisive factor. But I think he might just say, yo, I've been doing this for so long. Let me get this Joshua fight, do it in the UK, cash out, and just call it a career.
Yeah, it's the same reasoning as to why Sean Porter decided to, walk away. And that reason is sometimes people don't understand the grueling training regimen you have to go through to prepare for these fights. And Tyson Fury is not looking specifically at the Usyk fight and Usyk himself. He's looking at, okay, I got to go through another training camp, grueling training camp to prepare for this guy. And I may not even win, and if I do win, it's going to be a tough fight. So let me go ahead and just try to cash out maybe with an easier fight, or maybe just, prepare myself for retirement,
Yeah. But, with all that being said, if there's anybody else out there that's in the debate outside of Usyk, Crawford, in a way, obviously, people always have Canelo in the discussion, but anybody else out there you guys like to throw in the comment section, hop in the comment section. Tell us who do you think is number one pound for pound in the world. Take a second to step back, put the recency bias aside, and just, if Usyk's your guy, just tell us why Usyk's your guy. But, pound for pound, best fighter in the world, let us know. Hop in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe. 2 cents short of $1.